Salut, welcome to EBI video 24, the imperfect tense. So if you're watching this video, your teacher's given you EBI 24 as something to improve on from your writing or your speaking assessment. And to be honest, I'm not surprised. Out of all of the tenses, this is one of the trickiest ones. Unlucky. This video is going to talk you through the rules. It's going to explain this tense in a lot of detail, and it's going to go through everything you could possibly need to know for GCSE and for A-level and beyond. So you'll have the knowledge of this tense, but you won't be perfect. This video can't fix it all. This is all about skill. You'll need to really push yourself to make sure you know all the rules and that you can use them. And at the start, that's really tough, but one day you will be speaking French or writing French and you'll be able to put a verb in the imperfect tense without even thinking. Like I'm speaking to you now, that's how good you'll be. But it takes a lot of practice. Today is the first step towards that. Let's look at and explain the imperfect tense. Alors mes petits, right guys, you do see the imperfect tense quite a lot at GCSE. You have to master it for A-level, but if you're going for a top GCSE grade, you need to master it and show the examiner you can do it. So there's 5 key questions, 5 key things you have to know to be successful at this. We're going to work through all 5 today on this video and answer them all. What I want you to do now, before we start, before the explanations begin, look through all these. Can you answer any of them? Now, if you can't answer a single one, that's absolutely fine. That's why you're here. Read through, see what you can answer. Put me on pause now. When you think you've answered all you can, restart the video and I'm going to go through and talk about questions 1 and 2 first off. Pause me now, see what you can do. Alors mes petits, right guys, questions 1 and 2 then. When do we use the imperfect tense and how is it different to the perfect tense? Now, this is the first tricky bit, right? Perfect and imperfect, they're both past tenses, but there's more than one thing you want to express in the past tense. The perfect tense is what you have done or what you did. J'ai fini mes devoirs. I have finished my homework or I finished my homework. That's the perfect tense, what has happened. The imperfect is different. It expresses an ongoing action in the past. So the perfect tense is a completed action. I finished, I have finished, I ate, I've eaten, all finished. Whereas the imperfect obviously is still in the past, but it's expressing an ongoing action. It's the difference between I was finishing, I was eating, and I finished and I ate. So the simple form, the imperfect translates to was, were, or used to. So whenever you want to say what you was doing, what you were doing, or what you used to do, you use the imperfect tense. Simple. Let's look at it in a bit more detail. So it's usually used to express, or is always used to express, continuous actions in the past. So he was having an affair. That's a continuous action. He met his mistress loads and loads and loads of times. Very French example, that. Second one, I was watching the TV when the cat exploded. Now, this is a good example because it's got the perfect tense in it and the imperfect to show you the difference. So, I was watching TV. This is the continuous action. This is what was happening. So this is in the imperfect tense in English and in French. The cat exploded. The cat exploding is the perfect tense. This is a completed action. The cat was exploding would be imperfect. The cat exploded is perfect. So a continuous action in the past. The second area you use the imperfect is when you're describing something. So the weather was good, the city was beautiful, because those actions are ongoing in the past. The weather was good every single day of your holiday or most days. The city was beautiful. Yeah, that's an ongoing action in the past. So you use it for what was happening or to describe what something was like. This is where it's slightly different to English, because in English we've got a different word for what you was doing and what you used to do. In French, it's the same tense. So you use the imperfect for any habitual action in the past, i.e. when you want to say what you used to do. So she used to go drinking in the city every Friday. What used to happen, yeah? So was, were, used to. That's what the imperfect means. It's different from the perfect. The perfect is a completed action. I did my homework. The imperfect expresses an ongoing action. I was doing my homework. Alors mes petits, right, put me on pause. Have a go, see if you can answer 1 and 2. If you can, Bravo. If you can't, just watch the video back again. Just listen to the explanation and see what you can do. Alors mes enfants, so let's do what we did. When do we use the imperfect tense? For an ongoing action in the past, when you want to say was, were, used to. Simple. How's that different from the perfect? The perfect is a completed action. I did my homework. The imperfect is an ongoing action. I was doing my homework. Easy, right guys? That's the concept. This is what will tie your head in knots, GCSE and A-level students. The next bit, how you form it, can be a bit complicated, and this is what takes the practice, which is a good time to introduce the extra challenge for this video. I really think a revision poster on the imperfect tense would be a really good idea. There's a lot of rules here, a lot of things to remember. So as we're working through this video, you can make it look nice. You can use your highlighters. Making like a nice revision poster on this tense will really help you out. Extra challenge only. Let's look at questions 3, 4, and 5. So to form the imperfect tense, the endings are easy. It's all about step 1. So first off, your stem for the imperfect. Do you remember what that word means, a stem? A stem is a part of the verb that we take for a tense. So for the future tense, for example, the stem is the infinitive, easy. For the present tense, we change it, we chop off the ER, IR, RE, etc. and follows a pattern. That's what a stem is. Now in the imperfect tense, the stem, the bit of the verb we take, is the new form of any verb. Here we go. And then we take away the new, obviously, and we take away the ONS. So step 1 for the imperfect, before you do anything, you have to take the new form of any verb. Now the reason for this is the new form changes a lot of verbs. For example, look at our IR verb here. So for ER verbs, it's pretty much the same for most of them. But for IR verbs, any IR verbs, the ending is ils sont. So you need to get rid of the ONS on the end of this. There we go. So you get rid of that bit there. But you keep the ISS. So you need to keep that. So take the new form, get rid of the ONS, get rid of the new, and that will leave you with your stem for the verb. So here, our stem is regarde, because we've got rid of the ONS and we've got rid of the new. Here, our stem is finisse, because we've got rid of the new and we've got rid of the ONS. For faire, you need to take it to nous faisons, you get rid of the ONS and we've got fait. These are our stems. That's the tricky bit. Then you need to say was, were, or used to. Now, if you look in a dictionary for those words, you're not going to find them. Why? Because they're all verb endings. And what happens to verb endings when you talk about other people? They change. Here they are. Here's our verb endings. AIS, AIS, AIT, IONS, IEZ, AIENT. Now, I know what you're thinking. Sir, these are the verb endings for a different tense as well. You're right. They're the verb endings for the conditional and the imperfect. Exactly the same. So these endings can mean would. They can also mean was, were, used to. So what's the difference? I hear you screaming at your screen. It's the stem. For the conditional, we take the infinitive. So let me try and put this together. Je regarderai, with the ER on the ends, would be I would watch. Je regarderai, I would watch. But for the imperfect, you take the new form, you get rid of the ONS, and regarde is, so je regardais, without the ER, is I was watching or I used to watch. And it's that tiny change that makes the difference. You can hear it when I say it. Je regarderai, je regardais. You can hear that difference. One is what you would do, one is what you was, were, or used to do. So I know this is tough, guys. There's irregulars that you need to know about. So they say, and we'll talk about this after, that the only irregular in the imperfect is être. So the new form of être is nous sommes, but you don't do that. Être just changes to et, and then we stick our endings on, which you would have seen for a very long time since year 8, because you all know the word c'était means it was, and it comes from this look. So et, and then the AIT ending, he, she, one, or it was. c'était. So you've used the imperfect all this time and you didn't know it. This is what you've got here. This is our sort of one irregular. We'll talk about that in a second. Alors mes petits, donc, let's see what you can do. Taking the new form is the tough bit. I've put all the endings over here to help you. I want you to work dans les cahiers roses, s'il vous plaît. You don't need to copy all this out or anything. You don't need to copy out the English. You can just write avec un stylo rouge 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 et E, C. All we need to do then is try and translate these sentences using the patterns and using the rules we've got. Now don't pause me yet. We're going to do number one together, just to go through the thinking and the thought process and to model how you do it, and then you're going to have a go at the rest of them. So, numéro 1, I used to go. Okay, so I used to go. Really handy phrase. Step 1 then, we need to take the new form of aller. So, nous allons, we take the new form in the present tense, and then we get rid of the nous, we get rid of the ONS, and this is my stem. So this is the bit of the verb I need for the imperfect, A-double-L, al. Then I is je, just going to change to J apostrophe because we've got two vowels. So j'all, and then the ending's A-I-S. Put it all together, j'allais, j'allais. Et voilà. You see what I've done is following that pattern. I take the new form, take off the ONS, add the right ending. So you've now got number 2. They were watching. The verb is regarder. So what's the new form? We were. Be careful of this. Why have I put this here? This is an extra verb. This is irregular. Then they used to do. They were playing. He went. Oh, tricky extra challenge. What I want you to do then, put me on pause. See if you can translate these 5 sentences and you've got an extra challenge. It really doesn't matter if you get 0 out of 5 for this. Well, it does because I've done number 1. It doesn't matter if you've got 1 out of 5 for this. I don't care if you're getting all these wrong. This is all about you practicing and thinking about the rules. Put me on pause. Have a go at this. When you think you've done all you can, restart the video and I'll go through the answers. Bon courage, hein? On y va. Hello, mes petits. Right, guys, if you're listening to me now, you've had a go at this and you're ready for the answers. Let's work through them then. So they were watching. The verb to watch is regarder. So first off, I need to put in the new form to find out my stem. Nous regardons. Simple. Nous regardons. Get rid of the nous, get rid of that. And then that is my stem. Regarde. So they, I'm going to use the masculine, is ils. And then regardions. Ils regardions is they were watching. Excellent if you got that. Number 3, I warned you it's an irregular verb. What does être change to? Et. So, we were, you need nous, take the irregular, étions. Nous étions is how you say we were something. Being, we were being. Numéro 4, they used to do. Alright, this is a nasty one. So, faire is our verb to do. Put it in the new form is nous faisons. There we go. Take rid of the ONS and then is ils faisaient. They were doing or they used to do. They were playing. So our verb to play is jouer. Put it in the new form, nous jouons. Get rid of that ONS. We've got J-O-U. They is ils jouions. Voilà, ils jouions. Parfait. So guys, if you got a few of these right, well done. The last one, if you did the extra challenge, it's a trick question. What's the trick? What does the imperfect tense mean? Was, were, used to. He was going. He used to go. He went is a different tense. It's completed action in the past. You need il, it, aller. If you got that, you are very sharp. If you didn't, you're very stupid. No joking. This is really tough today. Well done. So guys, this is what you need to know. I think you would have found this difficult, but don't worry, that's what it's all about. You can watch this video again, you can have another practice at this again. This is what mastery is all about. Et voilà, right guys, you've worked really well so far. This is such an intense, tough video. I love the fact that we're making videos of this level for students, which is brilliant. What I want you to do is put me on pause, see if you can answer questions 1, 2, 3 and 4. We're going to look at question 5 after, but you need to know 1 and 4 before you look at this. So see if you can answer the questions, test yourself, pause me now, restart me when you're ready for the answers. Alors mes petits, right guys, let's go for it. So when do you use the imperfect tense? Was, were, used to, whenever you want to say those things. It's different from the perfect because the perfect is a completed action. I did my homework. With the imperfect is an ongoing action. I was doing my homework. Now for the tricky bit. For the stem, we take the present tense, new form, you get rid of the new, you get rid of the ONS. The one irregular is être, which changes to it, and then remember we add on our endings, which is the same as the conditional AIS, AIS, AOT, IONS, IUZ, AIENT. Now, there's one problem with the imperfect, and this is what really tricks everyone, really, like sixth formers, even kids at university doing this. There's one irregular, être, is a lie. Why? Because any irregular verb in the present tense is going to be irregular in the imperfect tense. Let me show you what I mean. Et voilà, so here I've got my regular verbs, jouer, vendre, and finir. And I take the new form and then take away the ONS, and that gives me the stems. For ER verbs, easy. For RE verbs, easy. For IR verbs, not as easy because it changes to this. This ISS is your ending. So you need the ISS on the end for any IR verb, but there's not that many IR verbs, you should be alright. Here are the ones that are going to trap you. Any verb that's irregular in the present tense is also going to be irregular in its new form. So take étudier. You think étudier, easy, just an ER verb. What's wrong with that? Well, nothing. We just follow the pattern that we've got. So we study as nous étudions with the I. So this is our stem with that I. And you might say, what's the problem here? Look at the new form. So the ending is IONS and it's already got an I. So it creates some absolutely crazy looking ones. That doesn't look right, does it? Étudions, that's how you do it. There's other verbs like voyager and manger is one that traps people as well, that have got this extra E in the new form, but you keep it in, so you need to remember this extra E throughout. And then a verb like commencer with a cedilla, this one's just crazy. So basically, any verb that's irregular in the present is also going to be irregular in the imperfect when you find the stem, which makes it so tough. Now for GCSE students, this isn't that important. Every examiner won't expect you to know all of these. Loads of people make mistakes on it. It's not fine. Like if you don't do it, if you do it correctly, that'd be fantastic. But you're not gonna lose big marks. It wouldn't stop you getting an 8 or even a 9 if you weren't changing some of these verbs in the imperfect tense. A-level students, you got to know these. You've got to know all of them. You've got to sit down and do the graft on them. There we go. Alors mes petits, now I know this is tough. We're going to move on to a test now, which will be one part of your red pen homework, your red pen test. So put me on pause, see if you can answer all 5 questions, and then we'll go on to testing you. Alors, right guys, if you listen to me, you've answered these questions, let's go for it. The imperfect tense means was, were, or used to. It's different from the perfect because it's an ongoing action. I was doing my homework, compared to completed action. I finished my homework. You need to take the present tense, new form of the verb. There's one irregular, is être. Why is this a lie? Because if you're taking the new form of the present tense, which is our answer to question 3, then any verb that's irregular in this new form is going to give you a funny stem that we've looked at. So these are all the rules. Let's put you to the test. Work in your pink books. Et voilà, donc pour finir maintenant, ce qu'il faut faire, question 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. J'ai choisi 6 verbes. Il faut traduire 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 en français pour moi. Pour vous aider, parce que c'est compliqué, quand j'ai utilisé un verbe compliqué et différent, je vous ai donné le forme d'un nu. Voilà, pour vous aider un peu. Donc, it's not for all of them, but just for the tricky ones, I've given you the new form to help you out. But, you know, I have taken away the endings to see if you really know it. Don't look in your book. Don't look back on this video. Treat this as a proper test and see what you've got. 6 would be full marks. I'd be very happy. Let's say 3 out of 6 would be a good target. Donc, bon courage mes petits. Put me on pause. See if you can say, I used to finish, they were selling. When you think you've done as much as you can, restart the video and I'll go through the answers. Pause me now. Bon courage. On y va. Alors mes petits, if you listen to me now, you've had a go at this and you've got the answers. So let's work through it together. The first one, I used to like. I haven't given you the new form because you should know it. Nous aimons. Get rid of the new. Get rid of the ONS. That gives us this. Let's do it actually. Get rid of the new. Get rid of the new. Get rid of the ONS. That gives us this. Aim is our stem. Aim is our stem. And then just stick the ending on the end. J'aimais. I used to like. Step 2 then, question 2 then, I used to finish. So nous finissons is what it changes to. You need to get rid of the new, get rid of the ONS, but you keep on the is. This is your stem, and then you add our right ending. So je finissais. Voilà. Numéro 3, they were selling. I've given you the new form, nous vendons. You know what to do. Get rid of this, get rid of this, and that gives us our stem for the verb is vendre. We is il, vente, and then our ending is A-I-E-N-T. Nous, ils vendaient is what you need. Excellent if you got that. Number 4, what's wrong with number 4, people? It's a trick question. Why? Have you fallen for the trap? Look at 4 and 5 and the difference. 4 is a completed action in the past. So you don't use the imperfect, use the perfect. You need j'ai fait. I did or I have done. Tricky. Alors, numéro 6. Compare that to this I used to do, where we take the new form. Nous faisons. Get rid of the new. Get rid of the ONS. And that's our stem, F-A-I-S. And then it's I used to do. So je fais. And our ending for I is A-I-S. Je faisais. And finally, she used to eat. This is one of our funny ones where we've got this extra E. Get rid of the ONS. Get rid of the new. And mange is our stem, she is elle, and then we put the verb mange, and then our ending for il, elle, on is A-I-T. So, elle mangeait is what you need. Guys, a brilliant effort. 3 out of 6 will be a very, very, very strong score today. If you're not sure, if you're not happy with your performance, that's fine. Just rewind the video, watch it again, and come back and have another go. Et voilà mes enfants, right guys, so that is everything there is to know about the imperfect tense. I've taught you everything about that tense that can possibly be taught. This is what it's all about. So what I'm going to do now, and I've done it right at the end of the video to stop you being lazy, and also if my French teachers saw me doing this, they'd be really annoyed. So I'm just going to teach you a little cheat that will get you through GCSE if you found this really tough. Et voilà, so here's our cheat today. This is all you need to know. So let's have a little look. You need to know 2 things really today. The key concept is the imperfect means was, were, or used to. And there's 2 absolutely key verbs. Être, you will see this in the imperfect tense all the time. So you need to know être and how it changes to talk about people, what was, were, or used to be. The other verb I've given you is aimer, because a little cheat is if like the examiner for GCSE, this would be asked you, what did you used to like doing when you were younger? You can say like, quand j'étais plus jeune, je jouais tout le temps au foot. That'd be great. If you couldn't do that, if you couldn't conjugate jouer because you can't remember all the rules, you can just say j'aimais, I used to like, and then whack your infinitive on the end. J'aimais cuisiner, j'aimais manger, j'aimais jouer, j'aimais faire. Easy street. So that's what I call the cheat for GCSE. You'll still show the examiner you know enough about the imperfect tense, but you won't have mastered it. That is a nice quick way to get the imperfect into your work without really showing your range. Now that's a short-term solution. What we want is for you to get good and confident and competent at French, so you will need to learn all the rules. And A-levelers, if you're watching this, ignore this slide completely. This is not for you. You need to learn all the rules, but just for a short-term fix, for a short-term solution, this is a great way around it. You j'aimais and then the infinitive, and that's all you need to know for GCSE. Right guys, you've worked really hard today. This is a really long EBI video, so well done. There's still some instruction on your daily test, so watch the next slide, watch this video to the end, and it will tell you what you need to do for the rest of your homework. But I'm really pleased with your effort today on a long video. Donc, bon effort mes petits, et à la prochaine fois. Au revoir. Your next step is your daily test. So your French teacher will have set you this for your homework. You've got your daily test booklet. Do not write in the booklet. What I want you to do, step 1 is in your pink books, copy out this box, copy out all the questions, copy out all the answers, and then copy out the blank test next to it. Then you're going to revise all the answers here. So you're going to spend your time learning this, make sure you master it. Once you've got it, this is what I want you to do. Cover up the answers, make sure you can't see them, and then in the blank test that you've copied out, take out your red pen, see if you can answer all of these questions and see if you can fill in any boxes. Then once you've done that, uncover this and look at what you've done and mark up your work. What have you got right? What have you got wrong? And then have a look. This is the ideal bit. Rinse and repeat. Go back to the start, revise the answers again, and then test yourself again, and then revise again, and then test again, and then mark again, and repeat until you've absolutely cracked it. And then if you've cracked it, say you started Monday and by Tuesday you know it off by heart, great. I bet you by Friday you will have forgotten it again. It's called a daily test because we want you to do it once every day, and the best students do this. Test yourself every day. If you can do it for 5 consecutive days in a row and get 100%, you've cracked it, you've got it, you've done it. So that is your homework for next time. Your extra challenge, guys, is to make a revision poster on this. So why don't you watch the video again, pause it, make a poster, make it look amazing, stick it up in your room or show it to your French teacher, show to make sure you've mastered this. This is EBI7. It is so important. Hopefully now you're happy and you can crack it. Thank you for watching. À bientôt. Au revoir.